actors crying. And about something so trivial. And something else strange. A famous writer, idolized by the public. His portrait on sale everywhere. His works translated into foreign languages. And he spends all his day fishing. And he's thrilled to have caught 2 perch. I always thought famous people were arrogant and unapproachable. But here they are, laughing and crying, and fishing, and losing their tempers, just like anyone else.
Are you alone?
Yes. What's that?
I was cruel enough to kill the seagull today. Now I'm laying at your feet.
What is this meant to mean?
I'm going to kill myself soon. Same method.
I don't even recognize you anymore.
That's since the day I stopped recognizing you. Change towards me. Your eyes are cold. I make you uncomfortable.
Well, that's because you've got so touchy lately. The things you say are less and less intelligible. Perhaps they're meant to be symbolic. And I imagine this seagull is meant as some sort of symbol, but I'm sorry, not one I understand. I'm too simple to understand you.
It all started when my play was such a stupid disaster. Women never forget failure. I burnt the whole thing. Every last page of it. If only you knew how unhappy I am. Your turning cold towards me is terrible. It's as if I've woken up to find the lake had dried up. Your joined rain to the ground. You just said you're too simple to understand me. What's there to understand? People didn't like my play. You find what inspires me contemptible. You now think I'm mediocre and worthless. Just like everybody else. I completely understand it. Completely. It's like a nail in my brain, damn it. Damn my blood-sucking pride. Sucking away at me like a snake. Ah, here comes the real genius. Walking and reading like Hamlet. Words, words, words! The sun hasn't even hit you, you're already smiling. I shan't get in your way.
Takes snuff. Drinks vodka. Always wears black. Teacher in love with her.
Good afternoon, Boris.
Good afternoon. Things have taken an unexpected turn. Apparently, we're leaving today. Pity. I don't often get the chance to meet young girls. Interesting young girls, that is. And as a result, the young women in my stories usually turn out fairly unconvincing. I'd like to trade places with you, just for an hour. Find out how you think, what sort of character you are.
And I'd like to trade places with you.
Why?
To find out what it feels like to be a famous, talented writer. What's it like to be famous? How does being famous affect you?
How? Not at all, I don't think. There's 2 possibilities. Either you're exaggerating my fame, or it doesn't affect me at all.
But what about when you read about yourself in the newspapers?
If they praise you, it cheers you up. But if they attack you, it depresses you for a couple days.
Oh, what a marvelous existence. People's destinies are so different. Some people can scarcely plod through their dull, obscure lives. And others, like you, for example, you're great, you're wonderful. Fate deals them a fascinating life. Oh, you're so lucky.
You talk about fame and luck and some glittering, fascinating life. But all these words, forgive me, are like so many sugar plums, which I never eat. You're very young and very sweet.
But your life is wonderful.
I don't see what's so special about it. I'm sorry, it's time for me to go and write. I have to go. It's what they call a sore point. You stepped on my pet bunion, and I'm starting to feel a bit steamed up, even angry. All right, let's talk. Let's talk about my wonderful, glittering life. Where shall we start? There's such a thing as obsession. When, for example, a man thinks all day and all night about nothing but the moon. I have my own. All day and all night, I'm haunted by a single, obsessive thought. I have to write. I have to write. I have to write. And no sooner have I finished one story, when for some reason or another, I have to write a second. And after the second, a third. And after the third, a fourth. And I write non-stop, at breakneck speed. And I can't seem to do it any other way. Now, what is so wonderful and glittering about that, may I ask? It's a preposterous life. I'm here with you, getting steamed up. But I can't help but think for a moment that there's a story waiting for me. There's a cloud, see, which looks like a grand piano. I think to myself, must make a note in a story somewhere that a cloud floated by, looking like a grand piano. I can smell heliotrope. I immediately make a mental note. Sickly scent, flower for a widow, use it when referring to a summer's evening. I keep fixing on every phrase, you or I am, and I can't seem to do it any other way. I feel like I'm swallowing up my own life, and that to make the honey that I'm giving to everyone out there in the void, I'm using the pollen from my own best flowers. In fact, I'm ripping them up and trampling on their roots. I must be insane, don't you think? And my friends and my family, you think they treat me as if I were quite sane? What are you writing? What are you going to treat us to next? And it's always the same thing. This scrutiny, this praise, this enthusiasm from my friends and family, it's all just pretense. They're humoring me, as they would an invalid. It's also preposterous. And I'm afraid that at any minute now, they'll come creeping up on me and cart me off to the asylum like a Gogol's madman. It's all so dreadful. Agony.
Well, surely your inspiration and the creative process itself, they're enough to give you moments of elation and pleasure.
While I'm actually writing, yes. And I enjoy reading proofs. But the minute it's published, I can't stand it. I see straight away that it's a mistake, and it should never have been written. And then the public gets a hold of it. And they say, charming and clever. Charming, but it's no Tolstoy. It's very good, but Turgenev's Father and Sons is better. And it'll be charming and clever till the day I die. And my friends, when they walk past my grave, they'll say, here lies Trigorin. He was a good writer, but not as good as Turgenev.
I'm sorry, I refuse to understand you. You're just spoiled by success.
What success? I've never liked myself as a writer. the trees and the sky. I respond to nature. I interact with it. It gives me an irresistible desire to write. But I'm not only a landscape painter, I'm also a citizen. And I feel that if I'm a writer, it's my duty to talk about this country and its people, and to talk about life and human rights and science, etc., etc. And I do talk about all these things at great speed, and people pester me constantly. And I see life and science speeding further and further ahead, leaving me behind. And so there I am, like a peasant who's missed his train. And I feel all I can do is describe landscapes. And in all other respects, I'm a fraud.